By the way, Chenge was my classmate at Maseno. Chenge was my classmate, a very polite guy. Yeah, we mourned him when he died. So one thing that documentary made me realize is what I'll call the sanctity of time and sanctity of life. So I'll call it sanctity of time. I am back, and I am back with another video. It's been a minute, guys. I've been trying to run around and sort out my life, but Nico town. So today is Saturday, so I'm doing this video because it will also remind me of this day that we lost yet another person in the media, an icon, someone who we grew up looking up to and listening to, Edward Quatch. For me, he was a good man. He always stopped by my desk to come and say hi. He called me Baba every time. So I remember him. I remember him as a good person. To me, at least, Edward Quatch was an excellent person, excellent presenter. We did a few shows. I remember the last show I did with him was after President Ruto dissolved the cabinet. There's another one after the Gen Z breached Parliament and all that, and that's also one thing that I'm going to talk about. But before I talk about that, I am somewhere on Kiambu Road, and I just seen a billboard. This billboard has the face of a child, the same child. So on one, he is visibly upset or angry, or his poker face is in play completely. Then the other one is smiling. So it's advertising baby wipes, if I'm not wrong. So one is like, oh, something smells off, and then the other one is happy. I'm thinking, babies don't buy diapers. Babies don't even know these things. I mean, they don't go choose them. It's the parent. So is that billboard supposed to attract the parent or the child? Anyway, having said that, I want to just mention something small about Blood Parliament, because I covered this, and the Beeb did something yesterday. So because I'm a journalist, I will not throw stones. But one thing that the Beeb forgot to tell us as Kenyans is that the bad manners from our security personnel, especially the brutality and that harsh training that makes them act the way they act and makes us so angry at them, is borrowed from the colonialists. So the Beeb forgot to tell us that the colonialists imported their bad habits to us. When you see them act, you know who taught them. When you see them irrational, you know who taught them. You see them brutalizing people, you know who taught them. So they forgot to tell us that. All in all, I don't want to comment about it, not because of anything, but it's a production. I think it was a good production. The graphics were on point, the illustrations were on point, the story was on point. The amount of work that went into that documentary, having been a producer, having produced documentaries, and done some work, but not to that level, man. The kind of work that went into that thing was massive. I wonder how many people were involved in it, but yeah, we watch it and it's still a subject of discussion. And now I see people discussing online. I even see my friend Peter Kaluma withdrew the tweets after he knew the Gen Z are coming for him. Anyway, that's some of the things I wanted to talk about. But aside from that, there's a story that you guys have missed. This story is on Western Insights, if not West Insights. That publication by former journalist. I'm still a journalist, but I also grew up looking up to him, Anderson as well. The story of Rafael Tuju going back to visit a woman, or an old woman, a granny, let me just say a granny, who clothed the mom. You know, that story is very interesting. Guys, you need to find that story and read that story. Tuju wrote that story himself, yeah? Tuju calls himself the Mandazi seller in Karen, you know? He's selling tea and Mandazi somewhere in Karen at Ntim. You guys need to find that story, read it, and see where life begins. My mom told me a similar story when she was growing up. I don't want to talk about it, but my mom told me a story about growing up and sometimes lacking those basic needs, you know. I don't want to talk about it, but guys, find that story, read about it. Ukisikia watu wametoka mbali, watu wametoka mbali. Ukisikia Mungu mbele, and God is never late. God is never late and Mungu mbele. So read that story. Apart from that, I want to end this video now talking about something that that documentary made me realize. By the way, Chenge was my classmate at Maseno. Chenge was my classmate, a very polite guy. Very polite guy. Yeah, we mourned him when he died. So one thing that documentary made me realize is what I'll call the sanctity of time and sanctity of life. So I'll call it sanctity of time. Do you guys know that if I have 17 years to retire, I begin to panic because it's such a short time? Like, do I have only 17 years to retire? What have I done? What have I not done? All those things start to bother me straight. 17 years. Yet, the converse, if you have a 17-year jail sentence, it's too long. Like, I'm going to be in prison for 17 years. I think that is too long a time. You even start wondering, when will 17 years come to an end? Nitoke prison. Like, it's too long. It's too long. But 17 years to retire? Hey, that's a very short time. You can even begin panicking and saying, I only have this. So that's the sanctity of time. To one person, it's a crisis. To other person, it's something unheard of. Like, it's a crisis. I have this little time. So time is very important. What we do with our time is very important. And I saw a saying once that we don't have time, and the only time we have is what we have currently, what we can utilize currently. Think about it. To a Form 4, 1 year to the exam is such a short time. But to a Form 1, 1 year to Form 2 is unheard of. Sanctity of time. What are you doing with your time? At least I'm recording a TikTok video. Timeless. Line, I even see my friend Peter Kaluma withdrew the tweets after he knew the Gen Z are coming for him. Anyway, that's some of the things I wanted to talk about. But aside from that, there's a story that you guys have missed. This story is on Western Insights, if not